Books, Their Covers, and Judgement by Catherine Weaver of Tinambit 2323. Narrated by David Tredinnick. Don't forget your tablets, Sid. They're on the bench next to the microwave. I'm just off to the supermarket. Righto, love. I might pop down to the bolo and catch up with the fellas in a bit. Sid folded the paper he'd been reading and gingerly got to his feet. It was slow work getting out the door these days. Shaving took forever, and engaging with shoelaces could really mess with your balance if you weren't careful. Time for a mental check of the standard house exit what to take list. Keys, wallet, Opal ticket, check. He'd taken everything except, that is, his tablet sitting on the bench next to the microwave. The bus ride to the Blue Hills Bowling Club was only a short one, but it now replaced what had once been an enjoyable walk for Sid through the local shopping mall and past parkland and shrill school playgrounds. These days, Sid's uncertain health had made the walk an impossible challenge. It was only those tablets, now sitting reproachfully on the kitchen bench, that kept him safe from potentially catastrophic medical emergencies. They meant he could still enjoy getting together with his old bowling club mates and go to the odd age-appropriate movie with Nancy, his wife of 50 years, their outing treat of choice being a vanilla choc top. Slowly navigating the connecting pathway from the bus stop to the club, Sid could see his old mates, Bill and Colin, sitting on the club's sun-drenched veranda, engaged in animated conversation. He smiled to himself, wondering what had got under their sun-weathered skin today. "Hello, you two. Just let me get a beer and then you can tell me what's got you all fired up. I could feel the heat all the way from the bus stop," he chuckled. Returning with a beer reverently held aloft, Sid pulled out one of the timber chairs and eased himself down, leaning on its sturdy arms for support. His mates finally paused to greet him and inquire after his health. "I'm fine, thank you, fellas. Thanks to the pharmaceutical industry and a dedicated wife who missed her calling as an army nurse." It was then that Sid remembered those tablets lovingly laid out by Nancy on that bench. After an uneasy pause, he put his doubts aside and returned to his query about his mate's agitation. Colin took a long sip of his beer before launching into an explanation. "Bill and I have been comparing notes about the failings of the younger generation after he had a bad experience in the shopping centre last week." Sid set his glass down and focused his attention on his one-time bowls doubles partner. "Sorry to hear that, Bill. What happened?" Bill rubbed his crumpled forehead as he drew down the uncomfortable memory. "Well, Marjorie and I had just finished our grocery shop at Woolies and she needed to do a top-up at the ATM. I took the opportunity to pop to the men's loo. She was putting the money into her handbag zip pocket when this kid, couldn't have been more than 14, came out of nowhere, pushed her over and took off with her handbag. I arrived back just in time to see the mongrel flying out the shopping centre doors and Marge on the ground in tears with the pain and shock of the whole thing." Sid shook his head in disbelief. "My God! Is Marjorie all right, Bill? Did they catch the little bastard?" "She's getting better each day, thanks, Sid. She's still pretty bruised, but it's the shock more than anything. The security guards got him as he was legging it through the centre's car park, so at least we didn't lose the money. What is the world coming to when young kids think attacking old ladies is a way to get hold of money?" Colin took the opportunity to jump in and address the situation, continuing the exchange he and Bill had been having when Sid arrived. "Well, as I was saying, it certainly wouldn't have happened in our day. If we needed money, we sold newspapers or mowed lawns. We were taught to respect our elders, and as for attacking frail old women, I have no words." Sid strongly suspected that Colin still had quite a few words left in his armoury, in fact, but took the opportunity to contribute his own. "That's right. They're not taught respect the way we were, and all those violent movies and video games don't help, I'm sure." A second beer under his belt and the shortcomings of today's young people covered comprehensively by the three friends, Sid decided it was time to head home. It would be good to get there before Nancy and get those tablets off the bench and dispatched to where they could do their good work. Saying his goodbyes and conveying warm wishes for Marjorie's continued recovery, Sid set off back along the pathway to the bus stop. He was checking the timetable on the bus shelter wall when its contents suddenly began dancing rhythmically in front of his eyes. He made a futile attempt to maintain his balance by grabbing the side of the shelter. As he slid to the ground, through hazy focus, he saw a bunch of high school boys teasing and jostling their way toward the bus stop. His last thought before he drifted away was, "Oh no, they'll probably grab my wallet and run off to the nearest McDonald's. Mongrel dogs." It was the blaring of the ambulance siren which briefly brought him around. He thought he was having some sort of vivid dream until the ambulance officer spoke. "You're lucky those young guys knew first aid, Sid. You probably wouldn't have made it otherwise." The officer leaned down close, trying to catch what Sid was trying to say in reply. Sounded like something about judging and book covers. The end.